After 70, who you live with could save or steal years of your life. The truth revealed. After 70, the person you live with could quietly steal years from your life or give them back to you. It sounds dramatic, but it is a truth so many seniors never see coming until it's too late. You might believe you're safe just because your roommate is family, or because you've known them for decades. But comfort can be an illusion, and one small hidden mistake about who shares your roof could cost you more than your health. It could cost you your peace, your independence, your sense of being alive. I've seen it happen. I've watched strong, beautiful souls shrink behind closed doors simply because no one warned them how powerful a companion's influence could be. I'm telling you this because I don't want that fate for you. At this age, your mind and heart deserve to be protected. You deserve to be seen, valued, and heard every day. And the right person beside you can make that happen, not just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. So before you trust anyone to share your daily space, listen to what I've learned, what research and real stories have revealed. These are the 5 types of people who can transform your final chapters for the better if you choose them wisely. If you find value in conversations like this, please take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support gives me the motivation to keep creating honest, heartfelt videos that can protect and uplift seniors like you. And here's something for you to reflect on right now. Question: if you had to choose today, who would you share your home with after 70? A someone who feels familiar and comfortable, even if they don't listen well. B, someone who truly respects your voice, even if they are new in your life. Share your answer, A or B, in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay with me because the next part might completely change how you think about who belongs by your side. Let me take you deeper into why this choice, who you live with after 70, might be one of the most important decisions of your life. Some of you may think that sounds exaggerated, but please stay with me. Over the years, I've listened to countless older adults who thought their home, their savings, and their daily routine would keep them safe and content through their final decades. They believed the 4 walls they had known for so long would protect them. But everything changed when the people sharing those walls changed. The person you see every morning and every night has the power to build you up or quietly drain you of the very parts that make you feel alive. As we age, our bodies naturally grow more fragile. We all know that. But what we rarely talk about is how fragile our hearts become. The resilience that carried us through loss, stress, and years of work begins to soften. We lower our guard. We crave kindness more deeply. We long for a presence that respects the person we have become and still believes in who we could be tomorrow. Without that, the spirit can fade faster than any disease ever could. I have seen too many seniors slip into silent despair even while their blood work and checkups looked fine. The wrong companion, someone who dismisses you, neglects your feelings, or adds chaos, can steal away your spirit day after day. But I have also seen people blossom against all odds, simply because the person they lived with gave them hope, noticed their stories, and valued their dreams. These aren't luxuries, they are survival. They are health, they are life. Stay with me because in the next part, I'll help you see who those people are and why they might be the best gift you ever give yourself. I remember the first time I realized that being heard was more powerful than any medicine. It was a quiet afternoon years ago when I visited a retired neighbor who had been growing more and more withdrawn. His name was Robert, and he was 79 at the time, a former engineer with stories buried in every wrinkle on his face. When I asked him about a photo on his wall, nothing special, just a picture of him fishing on a lake, he looked at me like he had forgotten anyone even cared about his voice. And then, for an hour straight, he told me the entire story behind that fishing trip. The way his hands moved, the way his eyes softened, reminded me that listening is not a passive gift. It is an act of love. As we grow older, we are talked over more often than we want to admit. Doctors talk at us, not with us. Our own children sometimes hurry through our sentences. Friends, if they're distracted or overwhelmed, nod politely while our memories fade into silence. And that quiet, that space where no one seems to truly hear us, can become the loneliest place in the world. That's why, when you think about who to live with after 70, I urge you to look for the listener. The person who doesn't just pause for your words, but welcomes them. Someone who leans forward with curiosity instead of impatience. Research has shown that being heard, really heard, lowers depression, improves memory, and steadies blood pressure. But honestly, I believe the benefits go far beyond any chart or study. When someone listens to you, they remind you that your life still has meaning, that you are not invisible, that your story deserves to be told. Robert later told me that afternoon was the first time in years he felt like a person, not a burden. That one conversation brought him back to life in a way no prescription ever could. So if you're deciding who might share your space in these precious years, ask yourself, will they make room for my story? Will they treat my memories like treasures, not clutter? Because the listener in your home will give you something priceless, the feeling that you still belong. And when you feel that every single day, it can change your future more than you ever imagined. If there's one thing I've learned after so many years watching people age, it's that once you feel truly heard, something amazing can happen. You start to believe in yourself again. And that is exactly where the second kind of person becomes essential, the encourager. Because even when someone listens to your story, there are days when you need them to push you to keep writing new chapters. The encourager is that gentle, hopeful presence who refuses to let you shrink. They see past the lines on your face and the stiffness in your joints, straight to the spark that still glows inside you. Maybe you haven't picked up a paintbrush in decades, or danced to your favorite song, or dreamed up something bold. The encourager doesn't let that go unnoticed. They bring you back to the parts of yourself you might have forgotten. I remember visiting a woman named Linda, who was 84 and had once been a passionate gardener. When her arthritis worsened, she gave it all up. Weeds crept in, and her bright flowers withered away. Then her grandson Ethan moved in after college. He didn't lecture Linda about giving up or tell her how to fix things. He simply brought home a tiny potted violet one day and asked Grandma, "Could you help me keep this alive?" That question was like a doorway back into her old world. Within weeks, Linda was out on the patio again, showing Ethan how to prune, how to feed, how to talk to flowers so they might bloom. It was more than a hobby. It was proof that she still had gifts to share. Encouragement is not about shouting motivational speeches or forcing you to be busy. It is about seeing your potential even when you can't. Studies have shown that older adults who are regularly exposed to hopeful, forward-looking companions have stronger immune systems, better heart health, and sharper memories. But beyond the science, I've seen the results with my own eyes. People stand taller, smile more, and move through their days with an energy that seems to come from nowhere. If you have an encourager in your life, hold them close. If you are an encourager for someone else, know that you are giving them a priceless gift. As we grow older, the world can try to shut us down, telling us our best years are over. But an encourager is proof that there is always something left to reach for, no matter how many candles were on your last birthday cake. After years of talking to seniors about what truly brings peace to their lives, I've come to realize something simple but profound. Sometimes you don't need words at all. Once you have been heard and encouraged, what you may crave next is a steady, calm presence. Someone who asks nothing of you except to share the same quiet space. That is the quiet companion, and they can be more healing than you might ever imagine. The quiet companion is not there to fix you or fill every silence. They don't measure time by how many stories you tell or how many goals you accomplish. They measure time by moments of gentle togetherness, where simply breathing the same air is enough. It can be a lifelong friend who comes over just to sit on your porch, or a cousin who shares morning coffee with you, barely saying a word, yet giving you the comforting knowledge that you are not alone. I met a man named Bill 76, who had lost his wife and was drowning in the emptiness of a too-silent house. One day, an old neighbor, Peter, offered to move in with him for a while. They didn't talk much about grief, didn't swap big philosophies. Instead, they just sat together watching cardinals gather at the feeder. In that peaceful silence, Bill told me he felt more alive than he had in months. He didn't have to explain himself, didn't have to pretend to be over it. Peter's calm company reminded him that he was still allowed to simply exist without performing for anyone. Science actually supports this quiet kind of healing. Studies show that seniors who live with someone who brings steadiness and calm have healthier sleep, lower blood pressure, and less risk of depression. Our nervous systems respond to an environment of peace, like a thirsty plant soaking up rain. If you are lucky enough to have a quiet companion, appreciate their gift. And if you can become that peaceful presence for someone else, you may offer them a sanctuary no medicine can replace. Because in a world that demands so much, being with someone who lets you rest, who lets you be, might be the greatest act of love there is. So when you think about who deserves a seat beside you as you grow older, don't underestimate the power of stillness. Sometimes a quiet heart next to yours is all you truly need to feel whole again. Once you have found someone who can listen, someone who can encourage, and someone who can share your quiet moments, there is still one more kind of person you should never overlook: the practical helper. These are the people who show love not so much through conversation, but through action. They are the steady hands that keep the ordinary details of your life from becoming overwhelming. You may not realize how exhausting small problems can be until you reach your 70s or 80s. A burned-out light bulb, a leaky faucet, an insurance letter you don't quite understand. These things build up, chipping away at your peace of mind. Where once they were just chores, now they can feel like mountains. And if those little stressors pile up, they can steal away your precious energy, leaving you too drained to enjoy the parts of life that still bring you joy. I remember meeting Helen, who was 81 and fiercely independent. She lived alone but had a wonderful nephew, Jason, who stopped by every Saturday. Jason didn't treat Helen like a child. He didn't try to control her. Instead, he quietly took care of the tasks that would have eaten away at her spirit. He helped sort the mail carried in the groceries, change the batteries in her smoke detectors. Each small act of service meant Helen could stay focused on what she loved: her books, her flower pots, her neighbors. This is what the practical helper does best. They free you up to keep living fully. They don't hover or invade your privacy. They simply make sure the daily bumps in the road don't throw you off course. Research supports this too. Seniors with reliable supportive helpers tend to maintain independence longer, suffer fewer injuries, and report a higher sense of confidence. Because accepting help is not weakness, it is wisdom. It means you know how to spend your strength on what truly matters, rather than wasting it on things that drain you. So if you are lucky enough to have a practical helper in your life, treasure them. And if you can be that helper for someone else, never doubt that your kindness is powerful. After all, a single strong hand to steady you can make even the hardest days feel manageable. And that gift is worth more than any riches you could ever imagine. If there is one more person who deserves a place in your home, after 70, it is the positive soul. This is the person who reminds you, even on the hardest days, that hope is still within reach. They do not deny your pain or pretend everything is perfect, but they refuse to let you drown in despair. They can light up a dark room with a simple joke, a kind word, or a gentle smile, and somehow make you believe you will get through whatever comes next. I have met many seniors whose worlds became brighter because of someone like this. Take George, for example, who was 85 and had lost nearly everything: his wife, his health, and even some of his mobility. George's cousin Samuel moved in after retiring and brought with him a kind of quiet optimism that changed the air in the house. Samuel wasn't loud or demanding. Instead, each morning, he would share a funny story from the newspaper or make a silly remark about the neighbor's dog. It might seem small, but George told me those moments gave him a reason to keep fighting, to keep waking up, to keep living. Positivity is more than a feel-good attitude. It actually affects the way your body functions. Studies show that being surrounded by optimism and hope can lower inflammation, stabilize your mood, and protect your brain from decline. A positive soul can be like an emotional vitamin, strengthening your heart in ways no prescription ever could. If you have someone who can laugh with you through the messiness of aging, hold on tight to them. And if you can be that person for someone else, know that your attitude is more powerful than any medicine. Life after 70 is not just about managing losses. It is about discovering what still makes you smile. So when you look around and choose who will share your table, think of the person who helps you breathe easier, the one who brings color back into gray days. Because growing older will test your spirit in ways you can't always predict, but the positive soul will stand by you, gently lifting you back toward the light again and again. And that is a gift no money can buy. As I look back on every story, every lesson, and every quiet moment shared, one truth stands taller than the rest. Who you live with after 70 will shape not just your days, but your entire sense of self. You could have a mansion filled with expensive things, but if you come home to people who dismiss you, who rob you of peace, you will feel poorer than you ever imagined. But if you surround yourself with those who listen, encourage, share silence, lend a practical hand, and bring hope into the room, then even the simplest apartment can feel like a palace. This choice of who you invite into your daily life is not small. It is an act of protection, an act of courage, and an act of self-respect. Because after all the years you have lived, you have earned the right to be treated with dignity and joy. You have earned the right to rest your head each night, knowing someone sees you, values you, and chooses to stand beside you, not just out of obligation, but out of genuine care. If there is one lesson I would ask you to carry away today, it is this: your peace of mind is worth defending, and the people you share your final chapters with will either guard that peace or destroy it. Choose wisely, because you deserve nothing less. Life lesson to remember: your surroundings are not made of walls, but of hearts. Protect your heart by choosing people who protect it with you. A simple question for you: if you could invite just one of these people to live with you tomorrow, who would it be? A, the encourager. B, the practical helper. Please share your answer politely in the comments so everyone can learn from each other's perspectives. If you feel this message matters, please subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss our heartfelt stories. And if you wish to support our mission, consider making a small donation. Your kindness helps us continue sharing honest, uplifting messages for seniors everywhere. Thank you so much for being here.